This podcast is brought to you by ONNIT. Go to ONNIT.com and look at the great selection of supplements. If you find something you like, press in code Joey and get 10% off delivered right to your house. What's happened, you bad motherfuckers? Yes, it is. It's Monday, the 7th of March, a beautiful motherfucking Monday. And the joint is brought to you by Liquid I.V. Listen, when you're working out, you want the best equipment, the best routine. Now Liquid I.V. is here to give you the best hydration. They've been sponsoring the show for a few months. When I got COVID, I started drinking the Liquid I.V. and it changed my life. 1 stick of Liquid I.V. and 16 ounces of water hydrates faster than water alone. Whether the grape, the cherry is tremendous, the passion fruit is tremendous, made with premium ingredients. Liquid I.V. is vegan, non-GMO, and free of gluten, dairy, and soy. I hate that shit anyway. And now they also support frontline workers to stay healthy. Liquid I.V. has donated to hospitals, EMSs, food banks, and veterans and active military with over 19 million servings donated. Listen to me. Liquid I.V. is tremendous. It's available nationwide at Costco. A little pricey. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to get you 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code Joey at checkout. Can you believe that? 25% off on a Monday morning when you order promo code Joey and liquidiv.com promo code Joey. Experience the best hydration today with liquidiv.com promo code Joey. And now, without further ado, the joint on a Monday morning.
Check 1, 2. Welcome to Uncle Joey's Joint.
What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? It's Monday, the 7th of motherfucking March. A beautiful fucking day to be alive. I had a great weekend. Things are going on. The UFC was great. Last week was a weird week for me because I finished the fucking book the week before. So, guys, for the last 14 months, this book has, kept me busy a couple nights. You have to sit down and outline and look at the previous outline and see what you want to add to it. So like I tell you guys, at night I like to watch TV with my wife, my daughter, but at one point I just turned the TV off and I would outline this. And it would be like 3 nights a week, sometimes on the weekends. But it was my job for the time being, And the last 2 weeks, I haven't been doing that shit. So this week, early on in the week, I'm like, what the fuck's going on in my life? I'm so fucking bored. I'm fucking bored to pieces here. And it was like Monday and Tuesday I had errands. I got my regular shit, but something was missing all week. I'm like, fuck, this sucks. And by Friday, I was having a rough fucking day. Like Friday afternoon, guys, we have good days and we have bad days, and my day was just not going well. And my phone went off, and it was one of my buddies from the 8th grade. David Ruiz, great guy. We hooked up like in the 6th grade, and he's like, hey man, what are you doing this weekend? I'd go out Saturday night if you're available. And I was like, you know what, man, my wife, and I was just about to make an excuse that my wife was out of town or whatever, and I go, no, let's fucking do it. Let's do it. I go, let's do this. Let's start simple. Let's go for a nice fucking steak. Let's meet at Steakhouse 85 in New Brunswick, right over there on 85 Church Street, across from the Stress Factory. That whole area, I don't know if you've ever been to the Stress Factory. If you're ever going to go see a comic at the Stress Factory, do me a favor. Spend the extra fucking $100 and go to dinner in fucking New Brunswick. Whether it's the 85, which is fucking tremendous. Rogan took me there maybe 15 fucking years ago, and it's been nothing but great. And the head chef goes to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu with me, so it's fucking perfect. It's perfect. I didn't see him Friday. He went on Saturday. I went on Friday. I didn't go on Saturday, so I never got a chance to talk to him. So I just wanted to salvage a night. So it was me and Dave. I called Louis Hernandez, you know, my buddy who was Dominican but moved to North Bergen, and everybody would call him fucking racial epithets and shit. And believe it or not, he was in. And then I called my man Whitey, because he's the one, his wife was the one that initiated this whole thing. And he's like, let me check and I'll hit you up tomorrow. And he hit me up that night, Friday night, he hit me up and he goes, I'm fucking in. And I was like, wow. So we got the original foursome. You know, we're missing like Chucky and a couple of guys, Dominic Special, rest his soul. So I go, let's just start it off with four of us. Whitey called me back and he goes, I'm bringing my friend Dominic. I said, go ahead. I remember Dominic from back in the day. And it's so weird. Like I've always told you guys, I just saw this the other day. A video of me popped up on TikTok. Like I don't subscribe to TikTok. I've never posted on TikTok.
There's
but
a couple of accounts that are used.
yeah, I'm all over TikTok. And the other day I saw a TikTok video on Twitter, and it was just me saying, you know, you don't need all this shit in your life. With 3 friends, you could conquer the fucking world. Did you see that the other day?
Morning joint video.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. That's crazy. I forgot I even said that shit about your 3 friends. And when I saw that, I go, holy shit. I got to see my friends. But I tell you guys, Friday was just, I don't know. It was like, I was just down. I even did a Patreon podcast, and I talked about that life. You have your ups and downs, you know, and that's a good thing. That's great about life. That life doesn't always suck, and life isn't always great. Can you imagine if your life was always great? You wake up in the morning, a chick is sucking your dick, you hit the lotto. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? After a month, you're like, I can't do this no more. People sucking my dick, and me winning money every day, and me having fun. What the fuck? Can't my cat get hit by a car or something like that? Something, you know? You know, life isn't fucking you know, but sometimes, so my wife was gone. I go, fuck it, let's go. You know, let's go. And sure enough, Saturday, I woke up with the Joey Diaz syndrome. I woke up with the regular syndrome. I don't know if I want to go. I don't feel good. What if I get car sick? I mean, I'm only fucking 20 minutes from New Brunswick. How car sick can I fucking get? So I got up yesterday. I had Honey Nut Cheerios because I was going to eat meat anyway. So I said,
Omar.
yeah, I prepared. Honey Nut Cheerio like Omar from The Wire. That shit keeps your cholesterol down, you know what I'm saying? So I had some Honey Nut Cheerio for breakfast. That was it. And for lunch, I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, homemade, tremendous. A little Jif creamy, stop it. Walsh's grape from the fucking, tremendous. So I fucking, I was prepared for last night. About 4 o'clock, I popped like 600 milligrams in ABX edibles. Because listen, I'm not going to a high-priced steakhouse and not going to eat. You don't understand, guys. I don't have the appetite I used to, like a fucking chubby dude. I don't have it no more. I can't even, I order a 14-ounce steak. Half of it comes home. And that's fresh from smoking a joint, the whole thing. You just don't have it no more. So I fuck it. I go, you know what? I'm going to prepare myself just in case. I took 800 milligrams with me. But I popped 3 here, 600. I popped 3 ABX capsules, and then I had 1 left. I put it in my pocket just in case I need a little buffer later on, you know what I'm saying, for the ride home. Sometimes you got to get the wing going. So I take my shower, I wash my pussy, and I fucking drive up to New Brunswick, and right away I fucking get in, no problems. I had the waves. I got lost even with the fucking Wave app. They said, make a left on Lincoln, and there I was. And I'll never forget, I pulled in, there's a parking garage next to the Stress Factory across the street from Steakhouse 85. And fucking, The light changed 3 times before I even got to the fucking garage because that's how busy it is. A lot of people go out to dinner in New Brunswick, and they got a lot of shit going on. They have theater and plays. It's a night, Rutgers is there. It's just a great little fucking town, So I pull into the driving thing, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to walk up to the 4th floor. I could see all the cars, but as Uncle Joey's pulling in, I see these spots. 3 of them are wide open. They go 30-minute parking only. Fuck you. I pulled right into I ain't walking up there. I pulled right into the 30-minute parking lot, and as I got out, there was a chick there with the car to give tickets, but I fucking didn't even look at it. I just kept walking out. I go, I got to make it in there. And I walked in, and the lady goes, how are you? I go, great. I'm here to meet my friends. The last name is Diaz. And she goes, they're already at the fucking bar. I was like, God damn. Walked over there, and we fucking almost broke down right there. My legs were going soft on me. When Louis hugged me and Dave hugged me, it was fucking insane. And I posted, huh?
How long had it been since you seen them?
35 years.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
I did not see them from 1985. Not a comedy show, because they're not on social media, these guys. So they live by their kids. Their kids would tell them, Coco's coming, and they would always tell them too late. But the one guy's sister would come see me, and I would always exchange messages for him with her, But it was so weird to sit at a table with these dudes. You got to remember, there was 5 of us. 3 of us, me, Louie, and Dave, were in the same 8th grade and 7th grade class. How fucking crazy is that? As soon as we sat down, I could see that everybody was a little kind of like it was surreal. Dave, my friend Dave, he was struggling with it. And I could feel for him, but you also got to remember, I knew these guys knew my mother. That's what made this dinner even more special. They would come to my house all the time, play basketball, go swimming. My mom would cook rice and beans for them and fucking steaks and shit. And they were all talking about my mom last night, that they were fucking hysterical stories about my mom, and my mom would tell them to shut the fuck up. We had a kid lifting at my house one day, and he put a lot of weight on. He kept saying, I know. Now, he had like a fucked up chin as it was, like Marlon Brando. But when he went in my backyard, my mom was on the phone looking out the door like, what are these guys doing? We're in the backyard. We got a bench out in the backyard, and we're bench pressing and shit. And it's Lucio's turn. He's one of the commissioners up in Union City now. And he starts throwing on, I don't know, you guys don't remember, weights used to be plastic with cement inside. So the fucking weights were like half built. The concrete was falling off. They were old weights. We're like 13. We're trying to be fucking bodybuilders. We're putting fucking weights on there. Lucio's like, put more weight on for me. Put more weight on for me. So he grabs the fucking bar, and all of a sudden he lifts it up, and it just goes straight down. Like it didn't even, you hold the bench like, help. It just went, and it went right down and hit him in the chin. So we picked it up. He's like, So my mom would call him the chin after that. Put some ice on the chin. And then every time he'd come home, my mom would go, the chin, like he hot in Spanish. We were talking about all that shit, but it was just, it was surreal that we had the bond that we had. I tried to tell you guys that this was going to happen about 6 months ago. I said, watch, guys, I'm going to connect with my grammar school buddies, and that's going to be the beginning of me. It's going to change me because I'm back to where I was. I was older than these guys. But if you remember, I got left back in the 7th grade. The 7th grade year I got left back on, I played basketball when I wasn't any good. And then the year I got left back, I was fucking embarrassed. These guys never made fun of me. They never called me stupid. They never said nothing. The year I got left back, I felt so bad in the 7th grade that I just disappeared. I joined the basketball team. I was going to karate again, and I was just trying to get my life together. I was fucking humiliated that I had gotten left back. Fucking humiliated. I sat in that class the first month, and I was just so fucking uncomfortable. And I thought I was going to fucking die. And next thing you know, these guys just, I always knew Dave. See, before I moved to the McKinley area in North Bergen, I had lived in the McKinley area in North Bergen When I first moved there and I was still going to parochial school in Kearney, New Jersey, Sacred Heart School for Boys, I didn't hang out with North Bergen people, but I did. When I would go to my mother's bar, it was on 29th and Bergen Line, I would walk down to the 26th Street Projects in North Bergen. And that was my introduction really to North Bergen. That was a complete different world down there. We were talking about last night, the Carvajols, the Martin Perez. Martin Perez's father was fucking one of the guys in Batista's army. So I told you guys that when they landed in North Bergen, they were okay. But then the word got out that this guy lived in North Bergen. So fucking they came after him to kill him. So the feds had to take Martin Perez. So all of us ran down there at that time. It was me, David Ruiz, Martin Perez, Armando, Dean LaPrete, just so many fucking, and we were always up to no good. We were always stealing light bulbs from fucking Duratest and hitting each other on the heads with it. We would fill fucking socks with flour and beat the fuck out of each other. We'd have flour all over us. I mean, there was no drugs. There was no thievery involved. And somewhere along the line, I became friends with David Ruiz and this kid named Armando Rudy. And these guys were a blast. You know, like, I don't know if you guys remember this, being young and having that crew that you talked about sex with, like all the things you were going to do to a girl when you had the opportunity. That was this crew. That was this 7th grade crew. We would just sit there for hours and talk about how we're going to make out with these girls and fucking have a Corvette. We were a fucking $1 away from having a quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was broke and we're talking all this nonsense and shit. So I became friends with Dave. Dave was a great basketball player. There was courts over there by Center Ford. That's not Center Ford anymore. That's where they used to do punt, pass, and kick. But there were these tremendous courts on 26th Street. Tremendous, little, hidden behind Center Ford. And that Center Ford where they used to do the punt, pass, and kick, it was fucking tremendous. And if you walked across the bridge on Route 3, we made it over to the other side to McKinley. So we had all that. You had this whole area to fucking play with. I still remember walking over that bridge with a Walkman on and stepping on caterpillars. There was millions of caterpillars on this bridge. And you know, caterpillars go into a cocoon, they turn into a butterfly or some shit. And I'm fucking walking on this bridge and I'm stomping. It's early in the morning, I'm by myself. I'm just stomping these fucking caterpillars by, and you can hear them crunch. My sneakers were all green and shit. And I kept walking, and all of a sudden, some kid came running up behind me just like that to my ears. Dog, I must have jumped 8 feet in the air. I thought it was one of the caterpillars that had jumped on my back and shit. I mean, we were doing something every day. Now, in the 7th grade, something really weird happened. That kid Juan moved over from the Bronx, Puerto Rican kid. He was a tremendous basketball player. While he was moving, getting his furniture in and out of the Bronx, I went in his house and we stole his shit. Me and my buddies on Giving That Terrace, I got the stereo and the speakers in my room. Long story. So now we're looking like, holy shit, we got Chucky as the point guard, we got David Ruiz and the other Puerto Rican kid as the forwards, or maybe move fucking him up to a shooting guard, and you got me and the Puerto Rican kid who could jump to play forwards. Now we got to get a center. So that was our fucking plan. So, you know, we played like maybe one game, and all of a sudden we're sitting in fucking the 7th grade, and the kid walks in with an afro. And he says his name is Louis Hernandez. And the first thing out of my thing was, dog, you got a Julius Irving afro. Can you play like him? And he's like, yeah, I can play. And I'm like, oh, thank God. We need this shit. And Louis came on the team, and that season we went fucking 0-7. We were god-awful. We couldn't win a fucking game. I was fucking heartbroken. I had gotten left back. I didn't have a girlfriend no more. I was retarded. You know, my life seemed like it was in the fucking dumps. I was still going to karate. And I go, you know what, man? I don't ever want to be an undefeated team ever fucking again. So me, Dave, Louis, we started a fucking campaign of just constant basketball. We were always playing basketball, the winter, the summer, and somewhere along that, we recruited a guy named Whitey. Whitey went to Kennedy School. Nice Irish kid, great fucking family. His mother always made chicken cutlets. His grandfather was our fucking chauffeur. We could be in fucking on the moon. And he would call his grandpa, Pop, I'm stuck over here. We just won. We don't know how to get home. I'll be right over and I'll bring chicken for you motherfuckers. And he'd come, bring us chicken, bring us Gatorades. Guys, it was a fucking dream come true. And Whitey played for another school, and there was no animosity. We got along like fucking brothers. I was at Whitey's house 3 nights a week. We had a bounce back. I don't know if you guys know what a bounce back is. It's like a fucking net. It looks like a camouflage net on a thing, and you throw the ball against it, and it pushes it back to you. And we just sit there for hours, me and Whitey, and take foul shots, free throws. We work on our jump shots. And then he could climb on the concrete wall and slam dunk. He was like Spider-Man. I could not do that. I was petrified to climb on the wall and slam dunk. And then we played there for a few hours. And the coach from Ramapo College, when he was a kid, he wasn't a coach yet, Chucky McBreen would call us and say, what are you guys doing? Come over to my house and sleep over. And we would walk from downtown to 30th and Patterson Plank Road. Chucky had a dirt basketball court. Every time you fucking had dribbled the ball, there was dust all around you and shit like that. You looked like, if you played 3 games, you were fucking filthy. But he had a pool. And then we would jump in the pool and you could see the dirt just come off around you. Like, there's 6 of us, dirty water. We didn't give a fuck. It was all about basketball. There was nobody getting high. There was nobody stealing shit. Yeah, we did a couple fucking creepy things, but nothing. We were very innocent kids at that time, guys. Very innocent. We lived for basketball. I lived for basketball and for karate. That was my whole. I went to McKinley. I got out. I went home. I played with some North Bergen guys. About 4:30, I got on my fucking feet. I walked up the hill, took a bus to fucking, 16th and Palisade Avenue. I go to karate, and then from karate, go to my mother's bar, eat dinner, and go home. That was my fucking life. That was it. And when we weren't in karate, me and these other lunatics were fucking at movie theaters, going to Harlem. No drugs, guys. Strip clubs, shit like that. No drugs. Just straight up kids. That's all we were. We were fucking just straight up kids. And in the 8th grade, our bond got so fucking strong we were going into the 8th grade. We're like, fuck. We were 0-7 last year. We got Louis. Raul, the Puerto Rican dude, he had left already. He moved after like 4 months. His father couldn't pay rent in Jersey. It was too high rent across the street. They were used to the apartment living over in the Bronx. So he left. So we were left with me, David, Chucky, and we had and we had Dominic Special and Anthony Balzano. Fucking God bless both of their souls. We had a tremendous 8th grade fucking team. I still remember the last day of school, you go into the grade you're going to go into, and you meet your teacher. And the 8th grade teachers were Miss Verga and Miss Walsh. Both of them were older than old lady time. Both of these women were fucking way past their prime. They could not teach anymore. But they were good teachers. They were older. And I'll never forget, it was a teacher named Miss Verga and Miss Walsh. We got Miss Walsh. Me, Louis Hernandez, Orlando Salcedo, Dominic Special. We fucking had Miss Walsh. And the first day we went in there, she goes, listen, guys, this class in particular has a reputation. And she goes, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I'm not going to play with you guys. I'm too fucking old. And I will throw you out of here one by one. Like, she drew the fucking line the first day. Like, it wasn't the first day of school. It was the last day of school. She drew the fucking line with us. She was like, here, I'll fucking suspend you. I'll throw you the fuck out. And it was like, I was in the first row. I had this cat, the Sicilian, imported. He had been in this country maybe 2 years from Italy. And his name was Michael. And we used to play street hockey. And I would hit him in the shins with the street hockey stick because he couldn't speak English, and he'd go, ay, 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 ay. Whenever I hit him in the leg, he'd go, ay, 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 ay. And that's all he did. He was an Italian kid, fucking off the charts book, off the book smart. We had this kid in the back named Orlando Salcedo, little chubby motherfucker. Dominic Special sat on the other side of class. And our job was to fucking torment Miss Walsh. We can't, listen, When she drew the line with us the last day of school, that gave us all summer to think about ways to torture this fucking lady. And when we get back into the 8th grade at the end of the summer, we're all basketball machines. I had been to fucking superstar basketball camp down there in Jersey City with the fucking Hurleys. I mean, we were basketball machines. That's all I gave a fuck about. A girl broke my heart. I was never going for pussy again. That shit hurts too much. When you're in the 8th grade and the 7th grade when some chick breaks your heart, it just hurts a little too much. I was like, fuck this shit. It's not about pussy no more. It's just going to be about fucking sports. We get into the fucking 8th grade. It's great. First day of school, Ms. Verga, the other teacher, announced to her class that she was taking medical leave. That she had, over the summer, they had found a tumor, and they were going to operate on her, and it was going to take 8 to 12 weeks to recuperate. And then a substitute was going to be named. So that fucked us all up. We already had a plan to torture Welsh and Verga. Now we got to think of a whole new fucking strategy. It's like the fucking, she didn't make weight. You ever have a fighter that doesn't make weight, or he catches COVID, now you got to fight a whole new opponent. And we're like, what the fuck how are we going to torture her? In those days, we went to homeroom with Miss Welsh, and you probably stayed with Miss Welsh for maybe 45 minutes. And then the bell went off, and you went to Miss Verga for a period, and then you went to the 7th grade, because they probably taught like history over there, and then you went to Mr. Kingwell, because he taught like math or some shit, and that was our fucking day. Then the whole afternoon, you'd spend it with your 8th grade teacher, or your regular homeroom teacher. So this was our goal every fucking day. We'd stay in school till 12. Once that bell went off, we'd run out of there. Me, Orlando, Dominic, and we run up the shop right off Route 3 there. We'd go in there and we'd fucking shoplift every piece of gum we could. Juicy Fruit, Hubba Bubba, Double Mint, you fucking name it, we fucking stole it. After a few weeks, we decided the fucking the wintergreen and all that gum wouldn't hit you hard enough. Like I had to put like 6 pieces of fucking Juicy Fruit to get like a good piece of gum to whip at you. But with Hubba Bubba, all I gotta do is put 2 or 3 pieces in my fucking mouth, and I got a little snowball. I got a little fucking weapon. So we would go up to the fucking ShopRite and steal 10 packs of Hubba Bubba down our pants. Security knew we were stealing it. They'd chase us out of there every fucking day, and we'd have to run down the hill. Every once a month somebody got caught. And we get back to class and they're like, don't say nothing, somebody would get caught and shit. So by this time we're fucking rolling Hubba Bubba, all of us, girls included, and we're getting a piece and we're just whipping it at one another in the classroom. So we got Miss Walsh down to a science. We would behave in the mornings, we would go to lunch, get rushed up, and then come back at 12:45 and proceed to torture that lady till 3 o'clock. First, it was an array of noises, you know. Orlando would go, wow, wow. They would read in the afternoons, and he would sit in the back going, wow, wow. And she would just look up and look around the class to see who was doing it. And then Michael Allegretta, the immigrant, could make some noises like he used to go, mmm. He did it like a haunted house. So now we had these 2 noises in the mix. So you had mmm, but he would do it loud. And then Orlando in the back going, wow, wow. And then I would start with my wows over here, right? Wow, wow. And she'd be looking up, and she'd be looking around, and then a piece of gum would fly in the fucking room. And she would look at the wall and go, what the fuck was that? And then some afternoons we just said, fuck it. We would put pieces of paper in our mouths. A whole piece of paper. And fucking get spitballs that were so big and whip them at the wall. They would hit and the spit would come out of them and shit. They were so disgusting. I mean, this is what we did every day. And she would have to take a breather. She'd go, okay, now, we're just going to sit until you guys get over it. And then we'd go heavy for like 10 minutes. Bah, moo. We'd make animal noises and shit. And then she'd go, are you guys ready to proceed? And we go, yeah. And then we fucking be quiet for like 30 minutes and then bring it on home for the last 45 minutes of class. Dog, we would make her cry. She was leaving there fucked up. Remember, half of us had trained under a guy named John Barone that we were talking about him last night. In my world, was a phenomenal teacher and one of the funniest fucking human beings around. So we had all been in the 7th grade Barone. Our sense of humor had been taken a fucking notch by Barone. Barone opened it up, our sense of humor, so fucking much. And that class was very free in Barone's. For example, there was a kid in the class named Richie Colombo. Richie Colombo didn't give a fuck. Do you understand me, people? Do you understand you have like little friends or like these girls that go to yoga and they're like, I don't care, you know. Okay, yeah, good. Yeah, you ever see these guys like, I don't care. Okay, good. Listen, Richie Colombo didn't give a fuck in the 8th grade to the point where he wouldn't even comb his hair. He had like this fucking nest. And he would come in and Mr. Barone would look at him and just shake his head. And one day Barone couldn't take it no more. And Barone goes, hey, Colombo, what'd you comb your hair with? A stick of dynamite? And Colombo goes, nah, what'd you comb that mop on your fucking head with? I mean, this was our 7th grade class. Okay, we had Charlie Gizzy, who sat by the window, and every time a plane went by, he jumped on his desk and he'd machine gun it down, okay? Okay, do you understand me, guys? This was not a jokey joke fucking 8th grade class. Then the other half of these motherfuckers was 16, 17. They were Cubans that came to this country and would not speak English, so they kept leaving them back. They would drive to school. They had beards. They had kids in other school. I mean, it was fucking, you know, these Cuban guys like 18 with 2 kids, hair on their legs. You know, you're like, what the fuck? I'm in the 8th grade. I got 3 hairs on my dick. And you're in gym changing with a guy that's got a fucking an Arab for a cock. He's got fucking, you know, see those Arab beards? That's what he's got around his dick. It looks like a neck brace for his fucking dick. I mean, it was fucking, it was just, we had another kid. We had Gizzy. We had Douglas Jimenez, another guy that didn't give a fuck with long hair. He was just looking to get out of school and start a fucking band. And dog, listen, I saw the principal, Leo Gattoni, get punched in the face by Louis Saldivar one day. And fucking, in the 8th grade, Louis Saldivar punched him in the face that Mr. Gattoni's leg buckled in the hallway as he was taking him to the principal's office. These guys are not your regular fucking nicey nice classroom. Okay, we got a teacher fired, we got a gym teacher fired. Then a fucking gym teacher hit me in the fucking 7th grade. You guys, 8th grade, you guys forgot about that. And Anthony Balzano's father fucking came in and cleaned his fucking clock and they transferred him out. Dog, this 8th grade was no joke, guys. We didn't have a gym. You know how they judged us on gym? We had to shovel snow in the winter. Next time you drive on Route 3 and you're heading into the city, look at that fucking school on the left that you can't see through the windows, that it's like the sun, they have like a sunblock on there. Look at those stairs. It's like 5 levels of fucking stairs we had to shovel when we were fucking kids and that's a tough fucking school, Jack. That school, you know, after I got thrown out of fucking Sacred Heart School for boys, I was like, all right, I guess I'll go to school in North Bergen. Dog, my first day in McKinley, one of the teachers had to go home because he put his lunch canteen on the desk, and somebody put a hit of acid in his fucking coffee. In the 6th grade, he was a 6th grade fucking teacher, a 5th grade teacher at Agresta. So that means somebody in the 5th grade in that school put a hit of window pane acid in his fucking canteen, in his fucking cooler, the coffee thing. He never came back from lunch. And then, last night we were talking about this, we almost died at the table. Because Whitey went to Kennedy, but it was me, David, and Louis at McKinley. And now, by this time, Mrs. Walsh's class, it was like October, and we were just driving her fucking nuts. Miss Verga was gone. We had a substitute teacher until they found the right teacher. And while they were looking for the teacher, they gave us this guy named Mr. Miss. Mr. Miss was a good-looking blonde dude that looked like fucking Robert Redford in the Sting. whenever he would teach, the girls would go fucking nuts. Me and my buddies like, we got to kill Mr. fucking Miss, because all the chicks like him. It was fucking crazy. Blonde head dude, yoked, a nice guy, really nice guy. But I'll never forget, he came into the school one day, the substitute, when Miss Ver, he had like a week at the school, and he was like, guys, they talk about this class in all the grammar schools, how people do not want to come to this school. What do you people do to substitutes? What the fuck? You know, like, what are you doing to, I mean, it was, guys, it was not pretty. If you sat with us in the afternoons, we would torment you, the noises, the fucking, the riffraff. It was just, it didn't stop. So I never forget that we got to class one day, it was like a Wednesday. And fucking Mr. Miss comes in with Miss Welsh. They're talking in the hallway when we get into class. And all of a sudden, Miss Welsh and Mr. Miss walk in. They go, guys, Miss Welsh has to say something to you. And she goes, today, we're getting a visitor. I hope you guys can behave, because if you don't, we're not going to get any more visitors. They want to come and talk to you about cookies or something like that. We're like, okay. So they said about 9:15, we're going to put 2 classes together. That was no bueno. They were going to put both our 8th grade class together, and this dude was going to do a presentation. Me, Louie, was sitting in the classroom, and the guy comes out. He's got big eyes, like one of those people that has like those type eyes. He's like, hi, good morning, students. He goes, I'm here to talk to you about some disease. And we're like, okay. You know, he wants to talk to us about some childhood disease. And he's like, you know, he's giving us the pitch that these kids, they're born this way, and the surgery takes like a week, and then they have to spend a year in a hospital, and this costs money. And if you guys sell these whatever, I would like to say cookies. I don't know what he was trying to make us sell. But he was just closing on us, right? And he's like, you don't understand. This is going to, you know, help your school and it'll help you guys. And we're like, what the fuck, guy? And I mean, I remember turning around and everybody was looking at him like, you can't be fucking serious. And he's closing, you know, he's telling us all the benefits by selling this stuff. And he goes, you don't understand. You guys will be helping kids. He goes, you guys, you know how lucky you are? You guys could walk around and play basketball and go to gym. He goes, these kids, it takes them 30 minutes to take 3 steps. And fucking Richie Colombo, that dude, that Mr. Barone with the hairdo, he put his hand up. The guy's like, I'm not done yet. Hold on with your question. Richie's like, and the guy's like, what? And he goes, if these kids, it takes them 30 seconds, 30 minutes to take 3 steps, why don't you just give them roller skates, right? That's all he said to this dude. And this dude looked at him, and he goes, that's it. Presentation over. I'll never forget this. And he went back to his briefcase. You know how they open up their briefcase? They go, and all of a sudden the briefcase opens up. He was slamming his stuff in there. And he's like, I never knew why I came to the school. They warned me against shoes. This is the worst school in the program. And all of a sudden, we just started throwing spitballs, bubble gum, paper. It was fucking surreal. He was putting his fucking hands up. He ran out, and that was it. They're like, that's it for you motherfuckers. Then we got a substitute teacher, a full-time one. His name is Wally Lindsay. He was the mayor of Weehawken, and he was coming to teach our 8th grade. Cool motherfucker, long hair, you know. He took us all out individually. And he's like, listen, I know all about you motherfuckers. I'll break your fucking neck. He goes, I know this guy, I know that guy, and they've already told me about you motherfuckers. So if I have any problems with Coco and Anthony Balzano, I'm supposed to call Carmine Balzano. We're like, that's cool. Fuck it, you know, that's cool. So now we got a connection, whatever. Barone and me hated each other in the 7th grade. Now me and Barone were best friends. Miss Welsh, finally one day, we fucking we did our usual fucking thing. We went to ShopRite, we came back, and one afternoon, we just went off so hard. Mike, we went off so hard. Guys, you just never believe how hard we went off on it. Things were flying, people were making noises, machine gun noises. It was just farts. It was fucking awful. And in the middle of it, she slammed her book. It was like 2 in the afternoon. She slammed her book. And she goes, noises, heavy breathing. You know, she's like, yells, screams, gum. She goes, what is this? And one of the kids goes, meet the noise, bitch. And she was like, ah! And she fucking ran out of class crying. And the principal came in like 20 minutes later. He's like, guys, I'm thinking of breaking this class up. Like breaking the whole 8th grade up and sending you all to different fucking schools. Because this is not fucking working.
Like that class in The Wire with Colvin.
What happened?
The class in The Wire with Colvin. The kids.
Yeah, it was fuck. She went outside, she cried. The principal came in and he said, you had 30 days to fucking turn it around. Or we're gonna get broken up into different classes. This is all of us. And when she came back, we apologized to her. And we made her a promise. None of those guys wanted to see Miss Walsh cry. She was 60-something fucking years old. You know, we didn't want to see her cry. So we just called a truce. And she said, this is what I'll do. When you guys get back from lunch, I'll let you go off for 20 minutes. And then we'll teach. And that worked. That worked. We came to a truce and we were great. But then we got more bad news. Dave Ruiz came in one day and he goes, hey, my parents want to move to Miami to get a house for us for college and all this shit. So I got to live with my aunt downtown. I'm transferring from fucking McKinley to Kennedy School. We're like, we just went and killed ourselves to put the perfect fucking team together. We just went on our way to put the perfect fucking team together, and now you're going to leave, so we started calling him Benedict Arnold. We were teasing him and shit. And listen, we were all happy for him. Now the team was going to be me, Louis, Chucky, Dominic Special, and Anthony Balzano. That was it. And we were talking about this last night, too, about the ref was Anthony's cousin. So Anthony's father called the ref and told him not to call any more fouls on us because he had a glass eye. He had a His name was Peter Capitoro. Mr. Capitoro, he was a ref. He was like a teacher at Lincoln School, and he was fucking refereeing, and he had a glass eye. His left eye was glass. So every time I'd be dribbling on the right side of the court, and I'd see him on the left side, I'd go close to him and go, Doug, stand in the right, because you can't see from there. I mean, we would fucking torment him and shit. This all happened in the 8th grade, guys. On Friday nights, we'd all meet on Gibbonette Terrace. We'd buy tons of sodas, tons of potato chips. I'd get Gino's Pizza, the one with like 50 pizzas on a tray, and you put them in the oven. They're sausage, pepperoni, little circles and shit. We were kids, and we'd all eat at my house. And then something happened to the fucking dance. We decided one day that maybe we're gonna give this marijuana a try. It was in the 8th grade when all of us were like, man, we want to smoke it, but we're scared. We're athletes and shit. And there were some people who didn't do it, but me, Louis, and those were the nights I used to blow the smoke into Louis' afro. We would smoke pot. We'd smoke tons of pot. And then, in those days when you're fucking in the 8th grade, and we were smoking like, I don't know, green weed from the city at that time. There wasn't even green weed. It was like brown weed. The weeds in the 8th grade were Panama red, gold, all that shit. But I still remember going up to the fucking soccer field, Schützen Park, and getting like a nickel bag from Puerto Rican Nelson. That's when Puerto Rican Nelson was in our lives. The pedophile from Gibbonette Terrace. He would sell us like 7 joints for $5. And I still remember going up to that soccer field, and guys, it would be 20 of us, all different shapes and sizes. And in those days, you smoked 6 joints between 20 people, and you hallucinated. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That's how tender we were as kids. Like, I still remember being behind there, drinking like a half a Boone's Farm, and smoking like 6 joints, and sitting and looking at the moon like, wow, I swear to God. Like, it's as plain as day for me of all of us. I remember us getting high and fucking following like car lights. Like, wow, look at that light. Look at that one. Oh my God, look at that. Like, we were like, fucking, enough. It's a fucking car light, you fucking idiots. But that's how, I still remember being that fucking high that it was that fucking strong, the weed, and that intense. And we'd have to go to the fucking bowling alley, and they had chocolate milk. And we would get fucking 3 chocolate milks apiece and fucking sandwiches. And fucking who would thought we'd get chocolate milk and order fries? That's how much money you had. I think it was 50 cents for the chocolate milk and 75 cents for the fries. You know what I'm saying? And if you had like $3, you got a fucking cheeseburger. Whoa! But that's where our bond came from, you know, in the 8th grade. And then I still remember the opening season. Opening game of the season was a Friday, but there was also a dance at Kennedy School. When we were talking about this last night, we were all bringing up different points, but they were all going, Coco, how do you have this fucking memory? This is crazy. We were talking about Pat Capituro. We were talking about there was this, so the league was broken into Lincoln, McKinley, Franklin, and Kennedy School. Franklin was number 1. They had 2 forwards that were bigger than me, and their center was 6'5" in the 8th grade. The second team that was going to come in and project it was going to be Lincoln's Kennedy School. Kennedy School had David and Whitey O'Donnell. They had a good fucking team, man. They were going to be hard to beat. We had me, Louie, Chucky. Lincoln had Rago, Fernie Bassasudo, you know. We were all friends at that time. We were all playing against each other. And look, we all came back to haunt each other later on in life. And I'll never forget that we beat Lincoln. But when we got to the dance, they were telling us that the center from Franklin, Lee Irwin, Kennedy broke his ankle. Kennedy School surrounded him, and he went to jump, and they put their foot under him. When the guy landed, it broke his ankle. He couldn't play for the season. We were like relieved, like, holy fuck, you guys knocked Kennedy out of the fucking, Lincoln out of the fuck. So we were fucking ecstatic. And I remember still going down there to Kennedy School. And I still remember after the dance, what do you think we did, guys? What do you think, we snuck, we went to a liquor store? No. We went right to the back to the basketball court, and we would play at Kennedy School till 11 o'clock at night. That was our life. There was no nothing. We knew nothing. All we wanted to do is play basketball. We were talking last night about how many times I would leave my house on Gibbonhead Terrace and walk to Whitey's house, like on 9th Street, in 2 feet of snow. And then his grandfather would give us shovels, and we'd go to the basketball court at Kennedy and shovel, not half court, bitches, the whole fucking court. And we'd be out there playing basketball, it'd be 20 degrees, the ball wouldn't even bounce because the air freezes in the ball wouldn't even fucking bounce. That's how much work we were putting into fucking, that's how much work I had put into basketball with these guys. Whatever Whitey ate, I ate. Whatever Whitey got, I got. Whatever I got, Whitey got, David got, Louie got. When I would write letters to Duke and to get their workout programs, when Bill Foster or, you know, somebody would send me their workout from the schools, I would make copies on a Xerox machine, and I would give them to these guys. We all worked out together. You know how many times we were talking about, how many times we would play basketball and then go sit on a wall to help our thighs so we could slam dunk, and we just have we just sit there like assholes for 2 fucking hours staring at each other to see who could sit there the longest. This is a friendship that, like I said, it took us 6 or 7 minutes to warm up last night. We got there, all of us were there. We were at our table seated at 6 o'clock, and we basically got up at 9:45. And the only reason why that was on Saturday night was because I had the UFC. That was the only reason. We would have still been there talking and yelling while we were sitting there. 3 people on different occasions, 2 women and 1 man, came over and said the same thing to us. They're like, guys, you guys are having a lot of fun. Keep it down. But they were just, and the way they would come over, he was like, bro, you guys are like fucking going off. I told him the story about when we were, because they all used to live downtown, so we all used to take the #1 bus. They remember all those adventures. Louis remembers when I farted and I bank shot it off the chair and it went into the junkie's mouth and shit. And they also said last night that they weren't surprised when they found out that I was a comedian. They said that at the 20-year reunion, 2002, that's when they were all talking about it. I think I'd done Mad TV by then and something else. And they were like, it doesn't fucking surprise us. I asked them what they had heard over the years. They had heard, because, okay, so these guys were my rock before my mother died. I mean, and I mentioned all these names to you guys. I know it's fucking confusing, but that's the childhood I was having. I always tell people I had a tremendous childhood. I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't give a fuck. I would bury my mother all over again to have the childhood that I had. It was fucking tremendous, man. We were all tight, and then we became freshmen. And we were all going to play on the freshman basketball team. We all had plans to start. And, I fucking, the coach didn't like me, so I didn't start. And they were there supporting me. They fucking knew what time it was. They saw me grabbing rebounds and running Cincinnati, but the coaches didn't dig me. And they were talking about last night that they could see it, wearing on me. That, I had all these expectations to start and shit. Every other coach thought I was going to start, and here I'm not even getting into games. It was really hard on me, but they supported me. They stayed my friends. I still remember freshman year, we all went to see fucking Richard Pryor on the Sunset Strip as a team, as a group of guys, like the team and the guys from McKinley and downtown, and we were just fucking tight. And then after freshman year, not even after the season ended, I lost my hope. I kind of had lost my way a little bit. It was rough on me. So I started partying a little more. Still no drugs. It was just weed and, a fucking Boone's Farm, shit like that. And then I didn't see them that summer that much. I was still playing basketball. I was still getting ready for JV ball. My confidence was down. I didn't know how they were going to fucking, look at me my sophomore year. And then I got a lung infection. I got that paraquat shit, and that put me in the hospital for 2 weeks. And I got out September 28th of my sophomore year. And it was too late. Like, I was spitting blood. They didn't really want me to run around. They wanted me to take a few months off. So I took my sophomore year off. I could always try out for JV when I was a junior and maybe come back stronger and start. But then November 8th of 79, that's 2 weeks later, my mother died. And I remember all those guys coming to my wake, and it was very hard. And they tried their best, guys. But I was somewhere else. And that's what David said last night. He goes, I saw you. I would see them at school. And then in the summers, I wouldn't see them. And then when I got kicked out of the Benders and I lived uptown, I really lost contact with them. And then that October, I quit high school. So I didn't really see them a lot. And I would see them at high school functions. And by that time, I was just a walking disaster, And I remember Dave said it last night. He goes, the last time I remember vividly seeing you was the night of the senior awards, and we had a party afterward. They had a party in Union City at this fucking drug bar, and we got into a fucking war down there. But I'll never forget that I was really fucked up down there. I had eaten a couple Quaaludes, and I drank some beers, and we got an 8-ball, and I'll never forget that I was outside, and I was kicking some kid, and that's when I realized my foot was bleeding. Like, every time I walked, I heard from the heel being soaked with blood. And I'll never forget that the cops had pulled me off the kid, and they're like, go home, go home. And I said something to one of the cops, and he wanted to hit me with a stick or something, and it was Dave. It was Dave who came over, and he goes, Coco, go home. And when he looked at me, I could see that either he was looking at me because I was coked out, or maybe I was bleeding from my head or something like that. Last night he told me, he goes, that night when I saw you, I could tell that you were gone. You were a different person. The basketball had affected you, your mother's death had affected you, and the drugs were starting to say that to you. And only one other person has ever said that to me, that I had crazy eyes, and that was my uncle. He said, when you came here in 84, your eyes were fucking crazy. And that's what this guy said. He goes, I grabbed you for a minute and said, Coco, come with us. Are you okay? And the way you walked away from her, I could tell that we had lost you. That's why last night they were like, you have no idea how special this is to us. Because at the 20-year reunion, we talked about you. 2002. At that time, I really wasn't touring. I think I was doing a couple things with Joe Rogan, but there wasn't no Twitter. You know, you couldn't get your tour dates out. It's not like it was Joe Rogan with special guests. That was a fucking feature act. What did I care? So last night, before we left, we just made a promise that we were going to get to do this once a month and not lose contact. And we're going to try to add people, you know, like we're going to try to do the next one with Chucky and the next one with, you know, get like Pip, just get it up to like 20 of us that are still around. You know, I just found out last week also that one of the girls from that class has leukemia. I called her up at the hospital. She says she's having a hard time reading text messages and shit. So she goes, just hit me up once a week and I'll text you back. So that's what we've been doing. And you know what, man? Listen, I'm doing great, guys. I've been really adjusting great. I got a good future. The fucking book is done. I'm fucking excited. I spoke to the agent on Saturday, and he said that he loves the fucking book, that only he's got a few notes at the end and for the afterward. So we're handing this in. So my point is, you know, I was doing great. I was all along. You know, we all struggle. If I tell you I don't struggle from time to time, what type of man would I be? I'm bullshitting you. Last week's struggle, whatever I needed in my life since I moved here, the people that I told Joe Rogan when Joe was like, come to Austin, and I go, nah, dog, I got to be closer to family. And he goes, but Joe, you don't have no family. I go, that's not what I'm talking about. I got to be closer to my family. These are the guys I was talking about. These guys know me, you know, 3-4 years before my mother died. They knew what my character was about. They knew I was fucking all heart. When I played basketball, I would bite you. I didn't give a fuck. and they knew my desire to be a fucking savage. They knew that I wasn't lazy. They knew that, you know, I used to walk here while I was always hustling. And just, listen, the biggest gift that we have in our lives, the biggest gift that anybody could give you is the gift of friendship. Just being your friend. They don't have to give you a fucking car. They don't have to suck your dick. You know, once you come to the conclusion that somebody's your friend, it makes your life a lot easier. You know, I have been through the fucking mill the last 40 years, you know, and from time to time I thought about these guys. Once I got back here, I really thought about them. Like Whitey's sister would always come to my comedy shows. But she lives here. Whitey lives in Long Island. So it was always like she would call Whitey too late to tell him about my comedy shows. But you know what, man? I made my friends really proud. I'm proud of them. Louie's a fucking social worker. Dave's an engineer. Whitey owns his own construction company. They're all successful. They've had their trials and tribulations, just like me. And it was a real pleasure to go out with them last night. And while I was sitting there, I was looking at them, and I'm like, these were the three guys I was talking about when I made that statement. And I didn't talk about taking over the world as like showing up like Che Guevara and Fidel Castro and going into the hills of New Jersey and taking over New Jersey. No. I'm talking about if there's something that I wanted to do now that I had doubts about before, now it's possible because I got my balls back attached to me. These guys were exactly what I needed to come back into my life. I was missing something because I've always said all I need right now is like 10 hours a week to get filled. That's it. With these guys, and guess what all three of them were saying at dinner? All four of them. They were all going, you know what, man? We have no friends. I'm like, how the fuck don't you have friends? And they're like, we go to work, we talk to people at work, we have acquaintances. So I said, fuck it, from now on, we're going to become family. Whitey's mother's still alive. David's family's still alive. It's fucking amazing. They're in their 80s. Fucking Whitey's grandfather's still alive. He's like 98 or something like that. So it was a fucking great weekend. Listen, guys, you know me. You know I love BetterHelp. I fucking love them. In fact, let's do a read for them while I got them. Because it's a Monday fucking afternoon and you need your little read or Monday morning. I love BetterHelp. The joint is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Listen, relationships takes work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help somebody we care about, but how often do we give ourselves the same treatment? I got like 3 friends that they're always fucking involved in other people's lives. But I ask them, what are you doing for you? Shut the fuck up. BetterHelp Online Therapy wants to remind you to take care of the most important relationship that you have, the one you have with yourself. Listen, guys, I was struggling for a long time. I didn't know what the fuck was bothering me. I talked to a friend. They said to contact BetterHelp, to contact the lady Dana. I did that. I told her what I was going through. And you know what? Here I am today, 8 months later, fucking tip-top Magoo. I'm feeling great. So we always say that therapy can't help us. Therapy can help you. I learned my fucking lesson. You know, it takes a big man to fucking tell people they made a mistake. I made a mistake all those years. I wish now I would have been talking to somebody. But hey, why cry over spilt milk? Whether it's hitting the gym or making time for a haircut or even trying therapy, you're the greatest asset. So invest time in yourself like you do with other people. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. If you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy, including your Uncle Joey. The joint is sponsored by BetterHelp, and listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Diaz. That's BetterHelp.com/Diaz. I love BetterHelp. I've been talking to them for like 7-8 months, and when I first got on the phone with them, I was a little apprehensive, you know. For years, you see people doing therapy with like a fucking watch and shit, and you're sitting on a couch, you know. So I didn't even know what therapy was. So when it became available to me, I called her, and we broke down my anxiety from A to Z, you know. So if you're struggling with anything, and listen, a lot of people are struggling. The last 2 years took its toll on this country. A lot of people are struggling. So don't think you're the odd man fucking out. There's a lot more people struggling than what you fucking think. So try out BetterHelp.com. Code fucking Diaz. So I'm back now, guys. I'm very happy that I went out with them. Because you know me, I'm Mr. fucking canceling. I thought about it, and I was like, it's going to suck. I'm going to feel weird. It was completely opposite. I felt fucking alive. So depend on your friends more, guys. I mean, over the pandemic, we've lost contact with a lot of people. We're not used to doing what we were doing. It's a whole new fucking world, you know. The last 2 years fucked everybody up. I was talking to Mike when he came here. I even think I still have a little couple COVID issues. I really don't in the back of my mind, but at times when I get invited to something like that now, it's like, listen, do I really want to fucking be there? You know, after the last 2 years, can you imagine going to like a church thing and getting COVID and dying? How pissed are you when you're on the table going, fuck, I should have minded my business instead of prayer from the house? So you never want to be that guy. It's like going to a concert. It's like going to a country concert and getting shot in the head when you're laying there going, fuck, You know, what the fuck was I thinking? Didn't they shoot up like 80 people in Vegas 2 years ago? What the fuck? It's the same thing. So over the pandemic, like a guy like me worried about like going down, like how much is it, how important is it for you to be down there? Is it worth dying? And you're like, nah, it ain't worth dying. So I think that fucked with us a little bit. And now it's time to move forward, guys. I mean, you have no idea how happy I am to move forward. Now, in my head, this is done over. The pandemic is over. Putin fucking got rid of everything. Putin beats up on the Ukrainians and fucking COVID disappears. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm not happy about the war, but I'm not going to be some Hollywood celebrity. You know, I'm not a fucking celebrity. I'm a dirty fucking comic. I'm worried about the war. I pray for them. Move the fuck on. What do you want me to do? Go over there, put my army hat on? I'm a fucking 60-year-old fat dude. What am I going to do? I support them. My heart goes out to them. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I hope it ends fucking quickly. I want to have a good summer. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to go out to the beach and fucking think the Russians are coming or the Cubans are coming or we're going to have another Cold War. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. You don't know anymore. We go day to day now, guys. That's what the Monday morning podcast is about, to remind us of our fucking boundaries, our strength, our weaknesses. We're going day to day. I'm still going fucking day to day. I got a busy day today. I got to go to jiu-jitsu. I got to do some ads for DraftKings. I got to do a couple fucking things because March Madness is in the motherfucking air and I can't wait. I think the teams get announced this week. This is the last thing in sports. Is fucking baseball's going on strike. Now they're talking, who gives a fuck anymore, guys? Just worry about yourself. I'm happy you tuned in today. I wanted to get this night off my chest. I had a great time in more ways than one. And guys, after the last 22 years in LA, surrounded by all those bullshit artists and insincere people, it was really nice to just feel like you're fucking home. And I've been waiting 2 years for me to say to you guys that I'm home. Guess what, cocksuckers? I'm home. And that's it for a beautiful fucking Monday morning, the 7th of motherfucking March. It's going to be a great week. What else is going on? I got nothing going on. That's it. What?
It was my brother's birthday.
Oh, shit. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Scotty. But besides that, we're done and done. Have a great fucking Monday. Stay black. And I'll see you cocksuckers Wednesday morning. Tip top Magoo. All right, you bad motherfuckers. I hope you enjoyed my little fucking Saturday night dinner at Steakhouse 85. I loved it. If you ever go to fucking New Brunswick to catch the Stress Factory, make sure you get yourself a nice little steak. But hey, the joint is brought to you by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Listen, everything takes time. It takes work. A lot of us will drop anything to go help some fucking stranger. But when we need help ourselves, we fall short. We don't invest in ourselves. It's time to invest in yourself. I know you're going to the gym. I know you're doing your writing. I know you're working out and you're eating good. But listen, it's time that you really look into yourself. You're the greatest asset. So invest time and effort into yourself like you do for all these other stupid things. BetterHelp is online therapy that offers video, phone, and live chat sessions with your therapist. You don't have to see anybody if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try and see why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. The joint is sponsored by BetterHelp, and listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/Diaz. That's BetterHelp.com/Diaz. Ask for Dana to give you help. She's helped me out tremendously. BetterHelp is the way to go. I want to thank BetterHelp, Lucy.co, and Liquid I.V, the best, for sponsoring the joint this weekend. And I want to thank you guys for always listening and having my back. I love you motherfuckers. Stay black. Have a great day. And I'll see you guys Wednesday the 9th. Tip top motherfucking Magoo.